Here come the personal questions. What was the last CD you bought/downloaded? Uh, the last physical CD that I bought in an actual music store was Eminem, the latest Eminem album, Recovery, which is awesome, by the way. You should buy that. The last song that I downloaded on the internet is called "Ain't No Rest for the Wicked" by Cage the Elephant. It's so cool. You should download that like right now. You should download that right now. Boxer briefs, or commando? If I could, I would go commando all the time because that's how I roll. But problem is my skin is allergic to certain types of metals. So whenever I wear a belt, if I wear a belt, my waistline gets extremely irritated, especially if I sit down or lean over. So if I absolutely have to wear a belt, I go with boxer briefs, just so I have something in between my skin and the belt buckle. Favorite time period in history? I really like the 1910s. I know that's not like a popular choice, but I just find them fascinating. I really like the vibe of that time period. Do you consume alcohol? If so, what is your drink of choice? I do drink alcohol. I'm not a huge drinker. If I really feel like altering my consciousness in some way, I would so much rather smoke pot. It's better for you. But my drink of choice is tequila. I can drink tequila like it's water. I don't know. And then when it comes to beer, my default is Corona. So clearly, I'm a closet Mexican. If you could be successful in only one career path, would you prefer acting or music? Acting, hands down. I'm an actor. I'm just an actor who happens to really like music. Have you ever gotten any auditions for big screen movies or TV shows outside of this soap genre? Yeah, I have actually. I'm a soap actor, by the way. That's my job. That's what I do for a living. I work on a daytime drama, hence the question. I auditioned for Kirk in the J.J. Abrams Star Trek, which was really fun and really exciting because I got to like drive onto the Paramount Studios and I had to sign a bunch of confidentiality agreements and do all this like protocol. It was cool. I auditioned for both male leads in Glee, and I got pretty far in that one actually. Although watching the show, I don't know if I could have handled doing what they do every week. So my hat's off to that entire cast. I got to audition for Kevin Smith for the show Reaper, and he gave me a thumbs up. I really wanted that one. I really, really, really wanted that one. That was like, my heart broke when I didn't get that one. It got canceled after 2 seasons, but you should rent the DVDs if you haven't seen it. It's awesome. And by the way, the guy who did get the part was really, really good. So good job to them. And there have been others kind of like that. Who is your favorite comic book hero? Batman. Totally Batman. I mean, his whole thing is he's the world's greatest detective. What other superhero uses powers of induction to fight crime? I mean, come on, that's just awesome. But to me, honestly, the real hero of the Batman canon is Alfred. I love the character of Alfred. He raised young Bruce all by himself when he didn't have to. He has unfailing integrity and loyalty and wisdom, and I think that's heroic. So there. Do you let your emotions sometimes overrule your logic? No, never. I'm a cold, emotionless, rationality-fueled cyborg. What kind of question is that? Yeah, of course. Yes, I do. Yes, all the time. What drugs have you taken, and what is your opinion on drugs and drug policy in general? This could get me in trouble. I've tried coke once. I've tried speed once, neither of which were gratifying at all, and I don't think I'll ever do them again. I have smoked pot, obviously, and I don't understand why it's illegal when alcohol isn't. I've done mushrooms out in the wilderness, alone with nobody around, which I enjoyed a lot. I wouldn't do heroin ever, even if you paid me. And I should say, if I knew then what I know now about speed, I wouldn't have done speed. I actually, in my ignorance, thought that speed was kind of the same thing as coke. So, I guess I believe that in theory, the government shouldn't have the right to criminalize what you put into your body so long as you aren't harming others. But I mean, that's the rub, isn't it? Some substances all but guarantee that you're going to harm others in one way or another. So I don't protest the illegality of any drug, really, with the exception of marijuana, which is such a cut and dry case to me. But that's just me. What was the most terrifying moment of your life? I had a wolf for many years as a kid, like an actual wolf, howl at the moon, huff and puff and blow your house down, wolf. And she was the most amazing creature I've ever had the pleasure of knowing, let alone growing up with. I will not be able to articulate to you in words how special she was. And one day when she was around 12 years old, her hips started to give and she became lethargic and the life slowly started to drain from her eyes, and you could just tell she was making her own preparations to die. And that time was the most fear I've ever felt in my life. I was just terrified of losing her. And in the end, I did lose her. So it was by no means an irrational fear. But that was the greatest loss I've ever suffered in my life. How do you approach a girl that you find attractive when you're out somewhere? What do you say or do? I really don't. I most certainly wouldn't now, considering I've been with my girlfriend for like 4 years. But I'm not good at that. I'm not good at initiating relationships with people, however brief or gratuitous those relationships may be. It's almost always been the product of organic conversation with somebody I've met through mutual friends or whatever, evolving slowly into something more flirtatious. There have only been a few times in my life where I've walked up to somebody and said like, "Hey, like I think you're really great. Can I buy you a cup of coffee after this?" or something like that. So, I'm no Casanova. What age did you lose your virginity? 17, New Year's Day. Is the fact that you're on YouTube generally known by your peers and coworkers? It's become known. It's become more known over time. But even then, I think only a handful of people I've worked with professionally even know that I have a YouTube channel, let alone knowing what it's about. I don't promote it, and I'd like to think that most of my subscribers don't even know what I actually do for a living. This is from Veritas. What does a fulfilling life look like to you at this point? This may not be what you're looking for. I'm not sure if you were going for something a little more abstract, but I'm going to go specific. I want to marry my girlfriend. I want to have at least a kid, because I really think at the end of the day, being a parent will be the most profound thing that I will have done in my life, no matter what else I've got going on. But my fantasy really is to have left the world a better place than I found it in some macro sense. And maybe that means writing a book. Maybe it means founding an organization. Maybe it just means a long career of entertaining people. I don't know. What sort of kid were you in high school? Very awkward. Very, very awkward. I was bright. I was a bright kid, but I was extremely awkward. I had no social skills whatsoever. I hated high school. I hated every fucking minute of it. I didn't like the kids there. I didn't like the teachers. Most memories I even have of my high school experience were just figuring out how to get out. And eventually I did. I dropped out of high school in the 11th grade, but I feel like I didn't really start becoming a real human being until then. And I don't blame high school for that now. I blame my parents, and they know that. They even concur with that, because my sense of socialization, especially going into school, was just fucked. Introduce your cat. Okay. This is Sawyer. Hi, buddy. Hi. He's purring. He's named after the infamous Lost character. or James Ford, if you will. He goes by Sawyer, soy sauce, soybean, the soyinator, and the sauce. Any one of those names will do. He's my buddy. He had a twin brother named Desmond, also named after the Lost character, and Desmond died really recently, a couple of weeks ago, and it was devastating. So we're kind of coping with that, and Sawyer's never been alone in his life. He's never done anything without his brother. They ate together, they slept together, they cleaned together. So we're all kind of sad. We're not kind of sad. We're really, really sad, and we're dealing with it. But I love this guy. He's the best. Okay. How and why did you come up with the name Theoretical Bullshit? It's really simple. I was arguing with somebody once, and I made some point about God or philosophy or metaphysics. I don't know what it was. And I remember the other party saying, oh, come on, that's just a bunch of theoretical bullshit. And I loved that phrase. So I kept it.